Banana Eats. That's probably one of the better games to come out recently on the Roblox platform, and it's not some stupid simulator game that is copy and pasted all over it. Banana Eats is mostly looked at as being similar to Flee the Facility and maybe Piggy, but I don't know. I've never actually played Piggy, but in the future I might play it for a review, and we'll see then if it's actually similar. But it is not a copy of Flee the Facility. Instead, its objectives are much different, and its maps are much different. The only thing that's really in common is that there's a killer and that you can crouch. That's it. That's the only thing that's actually similar, really. Let's start talking about all the maps before we get into everything else. The maps in general are pretty good. There's really only one map that is pretty bad, and that is the Backrooms map. And by far, it is the worst map out of all three of them at the moment. There's actually another map coming out very, very soon. Actually tomorrow, as of the recording date. And Backrooms is just bad because it's confusing. Things don't spawn where you would expect them to spawn. You sometimes just can't find something. Like, I've gone through entire rounds on the map, and I haven't been able to find the code pad at all, or even the code strip. So it's by far the worst. Vents go places that you wouldn't expect them to. There's not doorways in places that you need them to be. There's not really anywhere to try hiding from the killer other than behind some barrels and lockers and some vents. But by far it's the worst map because of how open it is, how confusing it is, and just the spawns not being that good. Now the second best map is the high school map, in my opinion, as it is decent at everything. Like, you can find things pretty well, but it's just there's not really that much of an issue with the map, actually. The cake spawns in the gymnasium and the library, and then there's, I think, 3 to 4 side rooms on each side of the map. And the exit gates are always in the same place on that map, and they are directly opposing each other there. Opposite of each other, that's what I meant. And it makes it pretty easy to navigate. There's the big hallway, and then you can go through the gymnasium, or you can go through the library to get to the other side, which is very easy to navigate, actually, because the library, for a survivor, you just need to go through 2 vents, and then boom, you're all the way on the other side of the map. Okay, the side rooms. Let's talk about those. Some of the side rooms have ventilations in between them, making them pretty powerful, and when the doors are really split apart from each other, it makes it where the banana needs to block off that vent, unless they're not going to get the survivor that's hiding in there. The survivor will just be able to go back and forth at the vents, and the banana will have no way of stopping them. Let's talk about the gymnasium. The gymnasium has 2 doors. Actually, no, it has 4 doors, including the curtain area, which is the stage. It has 3 ventilation areas, 1 at the front that goes right across to the library, and then there's 2 on the sides that go across to each side of the building. There's 3 direct hallways in total. There's the one that splits the library and the gymnasium, and then there's the 2 hallways that keep the side rooms separate from the gymnasium and the library. By far, it's very easy to find objectives, and it's also very easy to find the code pad. The code pad strip is also very easy to find, as it is generally on a desk or on some chair or maybe a barrel, but usually it's very easy to find, and most of the time that code pad is always put in. The cake is pretty easy to find as well, as the map is more grid-like, so you know where to go most of the time. And you will be able to find the slices, and you will know exactly which room the cake will be in, because it's either in the gymnasium or in the library. Let's talk about how strong the killer is on the map. The killer can definitely be very strong on the map if they can use their banana peels correctly. If they can block off the 2 vents in the library, you have already done a lot of work for that room. Those 2 ventilation areas are very strong if the banana doesn't do anything about it. And when there's nothing done about it, the banana sometimes doesn't even get a kill in that room or even a hit. The gymnasium is very spacious for the banana and the runners, but by far the far end one that goes directly across the library, that vent, that is the strongest against the banana, and the banana should usually block that off if they want to win in there. Now let's talk about the supermarket, as that map is probably my favorite map. First off, because of the look of it, I just love the look of it, and I also just like the layout of it. It's not very easy to understand, but it's also not difficult to understand, as it has sections, but it's not as easy. It has a main hallway. Well, not really a hallway, it has a main path that goes from each end of the map, and yeah, there's some blocks and stuff, which makes sense, it's a supermarket. I think it's nice because it's not very difficult, and it's very balanced actually. Ventilation areas can generally be blocked off, and you can get to the other side very fast. There's really only one or two that is very hard to get across, but you can just block that off and boom, it's already super easy to negate. The cake spawn is, I think it spawns in 3 areas on that map. It spawns in the middle of a hallway on one, in the cashier area, and I don't know about the third one. It might only be 2, but by far it's a good map. The banana's not very weak, and it's not very strong. There's a lot of side rooms that you can hide in as a runner. The objectives are very easy to find. Sometimes I have some trouble finding a code strip, but otherwise it's very, very simple. Yeah, good placement on the doors and the vents, and yeah, good job, developers. Now, let's talk about how the banana plays. The banana plays where he has 16 banana peels at the very beginning of the game, and he can drop them throughout the map. If a survivor slips on them, you gain that banana peel back, and you will be able to place down more. There is a slight cooldown every single time that you place down a banana peel, so you cannot spam them across the floor, otherwise that would be a bit broken. Yeah, it's around 30 seconds most likely, 30 seconds to a minute that you cannot place down a banana peel, and generally you should put them in doorways and vents. Most of the doorways, excluding the back rooms, actually no, the back rooms is pretty strong for this. You can put the banana peels right in front of the door, and survivors on the other side will not know that they're there, and they will slip on them 90% of the time. Now let's talk about the runners. The runners have no special abilities other than the beacon that they have on the back that shows when the banana is getting closer, but it doesn't display where they are. There's no tear radius for the banana, so only the beacon displays if it's actually getting close. Back of your beacon gets lighter or darker depending on where the banana is. Usually it's a color base, but sometimes there's I think there's 1 or 2 that instead just get brighter or darker, like the bloom beacon. By far it's very, very good, but it's not super strong either, as you can still get caught off guard if the banana sees you before you try hiding, or if you're just not being careful. It can get a little bit annoying, but I believe that's going to be changed a little bit, where there's going to be particle effects that emit from the beacon light, and yeah, that's definitely going to be very nice because you will be able to have more of a grasp on how far the banana is. The survivors can also evade banana peels a lot of the time, because sometimes they are placed in weird locations, but if they're placed right on the other side of the vent, you cannot go through that vent. You will slip on the banana peel and you will be stuck there for around 30 seconds. 20 seconds, not really sure how long, it's probably 15 to 30 seconds of a stun. The banana is faster than survivors, so survivors need to keep a keen eye, otherwise they might get hit. There is one issue, and I believe this is a Roblox issue. If you are going through a vent and the banana is really, really close to you, sometimes you get hit from across the room. You will be on the other side of the vent, you'll be a few studs away, and the banana will still get a hit in. It's most likely due to the animation, or maybe it's just Roblox being slow and keeping your hitbox a mile behind you. Overall, it's a fun game. You have 3 lives. 2 lives can be taken. You gain a speed boost each time that you get hit, and you will be able to run far away, and you are also invincible to banana peels and additional attacks from the banana. Vents are not vents actually, lockers. Lockers are very strong, but they can be very, very, very strong on select maps. When there's a ton of them in a certain room, sometimes you are able to sneak away when the banana is searching other lockers. Whenever a survivor is found inside of a locker by the banana shreds through the locker, and the locker is no longer in play for either a set duration or for the rest of the game. I should probably do test runs because I want to figure that out actually. The survivors do not have any additional powers once more. There are some perks in the game. There's ×2 banana chance and there's ×2 escape coins. Generally, every single game pass in the game is relatively cheap. Probably the least amazing one that I would get is the VIP one, as it does not have perks that I would really enjoy, as it only gives you a tag. It gives you 20% more coins when purchasing a very rare skin and 1,000 coins. By far, I don't say it's that worth it, but it's only around 400 Robux to buy. There are some codes as well, and I can put those in the description actually if you don't know. There's really only one issue that I hate with this game. It's that you can use your own custom player model, but some people use small little characters, and it just gets ridiculous. It gets horrible. It's so bad when the people are in lockers. And the final thing I want to talk about is the puzzles. The code lock, it requires a code at the very beginning of the game. There's a small little code strip that can be found around the map, and you just type that into the code, and then boom, you already get your timer decreased. The other thing is it's like a picture art where you need to slide the things around to create a picture. It's a cake, and generally those don't take too long, and yeah, they're nice. And the last one is the valve. The valve actually is very nice because it shows how many else need to be done. The main issue is just rendering. You don't know when a valve is done until you get close to it. It's kind of confusing sometimes. But overall, I'd say it's a good game. It has a few bugs, and explorers can still play on this game actually. I've seen some people clipping through walls, and yeah, it's not that good. Main issue that I have is that people can make really small avatars, and they can hide in lockers or behind barrels, and they're virtually unseeable to the banana, and it's so hard to keep track of them. I played against them so many times. But overall, it's a good game. I would recommend it. And show this game some love actually, because it's really good, and it just came out. So, yeah. Thank you.